Hi viewers, welcome to UN College digital class. We had already discussed about Domestic Violence Act 2005 from section 1 to section 17, and in this class today we will discuss furthermore from section 18 to onwards. So let's start. Under section 18 there is protection orders. The magistrate may, after giving the aggrieved person and the respondent an opportunity of being heard and on being prima facie satisfied that domestic violence has taken place or is likely to take place, pass a protection order in favor of the aggrieved person and prohibit the respondent from different issues. The magistrate have to pass protection order to whom, if there is a woman facing problem like domestic violence issue and the magistrate felt that to the aggrieved person has to provide protection order due to protect her and for her safety and security, then magistrate shall provide protection order. But there is some prohibition for the respondent. Because of respondent, the aggrieved person facing different type of issue and different type of problem to survive her life. First, committing any act of domestic violence, aiding or abetting in the commission of acts of domestic violence. If the respondent committing any type of crime and because of the respondent the aggrieved person facing any type of issue or problem, then that should be prohibited by the magistrate. And also, if the respondent encourage or assist someone to commit a crime against the aggrieved person, then that should be also ordered by the magistrate and also prohibited by the magistrate. Then entering the place of employment of the aggrieved person, or if the person aggrieved is a child, its school or any other place frequented by the aggrieved person. If the respondent entering into the working area or working place of the aggrieved person, then the aggrieved person will be disturbed. The aggrieved person will be face problem due to the presence of respondent. So it should be prohibited the entry of the respondent at the area of aggrieved person. If the aggrieved person is a child, then if the respondent will go to the school or any other place, then because of the presence of respondent, the child also face problem, the child also disturbed, then that should be prohibited by the magistrate, the presence of the respondent at the area or at the location of the aggrieved person. Attempting to communicate in any form whatsoever with the aggrieved person, including personal, oral or written or electronic or telephonic contact. If the respondent attempting to contact the aggrieved person through any telephonic contact or any electronic contact or by giving letter, by written or through personal contact or orally contact, then that should be prohibited by the magistrate to contact with the aggrieved person or to disturb the aggrieved person because of interacting with the aggrieved person by the respondent. Alienating any assets, operating bank lockers or bank accounts used or held or enjoyed by both the parties jointly by the aggrieved person and the respondent or singly by the respondent, including horse, stridhan or any other property had either jointly by the parties or separately by them without the leave of the magistrate. It should be prohibited to alienate any assets operating like bank lockers or bank accounts or any other valuable property when used or enjoyed by both the aggrieved person or by the respondent, like her stridhan or any other property either jointly or separately without the leave of the magistrate, that should be prohibited. Causing violence to the dependents or the relatives or any person who give the aggrieved person assistance from domestic violence issue. If the respondent causing any type of violence or any type of issue to the agreed person or any person who was linked with the agreed person, then it should be prohibited by the magistrate. Because of respondent, the agreed person is facing problem, then it should be prohibited by the magistrate. Committing any other act as specified in the protection order. And also the magistrate prohibit the respondent from commit any other activities which is related to the domestic violence and which are specified under the protection order. Then section 19, that is residence orders. While disposing of an application under subsection 1 of section 12, the magistrate may, on being satisfied that domestic violence has taken place, pass a residence order. We already discussed in section 12 subsection 1, that is the magistrate provided relief to the agreed person. In this section, when the magistrate feel that there is any need of safe shelter to the agreed person, they declared residence order for her, restraining the respondent, dispossessing or in any other manner disturbing the possession of the agreed person from the shared household, whether or not the respondent has a legal or equitable interest in the shared household. The magistrate prevent that whether the respondent has no legal or equal interest as like as the agreed person in shared household, but disturb the agreed person from the shared household by any type of activity or any type of manner or behavior. In that case, the magistrate restrain the respondent. Here restrain means prevent someone to doing something or keep someone under control. Then directing the respondent to remove himself from the shared household. If the respondent causing problem to the agreed person, then magistrate ordered that to remove himself from the shared household, where the agreed person also living with the respondent. Then restraining the respondent or any of his relatives from entering any portion of the shared household in which the agreed person resides. When the respondent or any other person who are the relatives of respondent entered into the area or entered into the part of the shared household where the agreed person living, because of them the agreed person will be disturbed or will be face problem, then that should be prohibited by the magistrate. Restraining the respondent from alienating or disposing of the shared household or encumbering the same. If all the respondent alienate the agreed person from the share, then the magistrate prevent the victim from that issue, because the victim also has rights on that area. The victim has also the rights to live in the shared household. Then restraining the respondent from renouncing his rights in the shared household except with the leave of the magistrate. If the respondent renouncing his rights on the shared household except the leave of the magistrate, then the magistrate prevent that and order that the respondent has to leave that shared household or share with the agreed person. Then directing the respondent to secure same level of alternate accommodation for the agreed person as enjoyed by her in the shared household or to pay rent for the same if the circumstances so require, provided that no order under clause B shall be passed against any person who is a woman. There is under clause B, if there is a woman who is the agreed person or also facing domestic violence issue, the respondent has to accommodate her with him in a shared household. If the respondent not agree to share the household with the agreed person, then he has to accommodate or he has to give rent or give payment for rent in which the agreed person can enjoy or in which the agreed person can live her life safely or securely. The magistrate may impose any additional conditions or pass any other directions which he may deem reasonably necessary to protect or to provide for the safety of the agreed person or any child of such agreed person. The magistrate always imposed safety and security for the agreed person to protect her, also give protection for the child of the agreed person and also for the agreed person, like custody order and compensation order for a child, and also any other additional conditions for development or for protection of the agreed person or the child of the agreed person. Then the magistrate may require from the respondent to execute a bond with or without sureties for preventing the commission of domestic violence. The magistrate required a bond from the respondent for prevention of domestic violence issue from our society. Then an order under subsection 3 shall be deemed to be an order under chapter VIII of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 2 of 1974 and shall be dealt with accordingly. Here under subsection 3 there is some facilities which is provided by the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973. While passing an order under subsection 1, subsection 2 or subsection 3, the court may also pass an order directing the officer in charge of the nearest police station to give protection to the agreed person or to assist her or the person making an application on her behalf in the implementation of the order. When the court receives the application from the agreed person or any applicant on behalf of the agreed person, then after that the court has to pass the order to the police in charge of local area where the domestic violence issue took place and also provide the order to the service provider of that area. Then 6. While making an order under subsection 1, the magistrate may impose on the respondent obligations relating to the discharge of rent and other payments having regard to the financial needs and resources of the parties. Under subsection 1, if there is a need of any financial or economic need of the agreed person, then the respondent has to give monetary relief, have to provide financial support to the agreed person. Then the magistrate may direct the officer in charge of the police station in whose jurisdiction the magistrate has been approached to assist in the implementation of the protection order. The magistrate approached the officer in charge of local area of police station to assist or cooperate the agreed person for implementation of protection order or to the protect to the woman or protect to the agreed person. Then the magistrate may direct the respondent to return to the possession of the agreed person her stridhan or any other property or valuable security to which she is entitled to. The magistrate ordered that to the respondent to return any valuable property or stridhan of the agreed person which is taken by dowry or which is taken by gift from the wife or from the agreed person or from the family or any relatives of the agreed person. The respondent have to return that property or security to the agreed person. Then section 20, which is provided monetary relief to the agreed person. But 1, while disposing of an application under subsection 1 of section 12, the magistrate may direct the respondent to pay monetary relief to meet the expenses incurred and losses suffered by the agreed person and any child of the agreed person as a result of the domestic violence, and such relief may include but is not limited to if the agreed person faced or suffered any type of financial issue due to domestic violence, then the respondent has to pay monetary relief to recover the losses suffered by the agreed person. For the recovery of financial issue, there is a relief, there is a support to the agreed person which is monetary relief, and also there is some monetary relief which may include but is not limited to, these are the loss of earnings if the agreed person lost a job or income source, the medical expenses if there is any type of health issue and expenses on that medical issue. Then the loss caused due to the destruction, damage or removal of any property from the control of the agreed person. If the reason of the loss is damage of any property of the agreed person, then these are not limited. The maintenance for the agreed person as well as her children, if any, including an order under or in addition to an order of maintenance under section 125 of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, 2 of 1974 or any other law for the time being in force. In this facility for the maintenance of the agreed person or for the children of the agreed person, there is compensation or maintenance for the victim or for the children of the victim from the respondent. The monetary relief granted under this section shall be adequate, fair and reasonable and consistent with the standard of living to which the aggrieved person is accustomed. The monetary relief which are provided under this section shall be always fair and reasonable with the standard of living. If the respondent has income of 50,000 or the agreed person demanded 60,000, then how the respondent will give the maintenance? So, it should be always reasonable and fair from the situation of the agreed person and also the respondent. If the respondent is not eligible for giving maintenance which is demanded by the agreed person, then the magistrate has to give importance on the situation of the respondent also. The magistrate shall have the power to order an appropriate lump sum payment or monthly payments of maintenance as the nature and circumstances of the case may require. The magistrate have power and he can order the mode of payment like monthly payment of maintenance of the agreed person which required after understanding of situation of the respondent and also the situation of the agreed person. Then the magistrate shall send a copy of the order for monetary relief made under subsection 1 to the parties to the application and to the in charge of the police station within the local limits of whose jurisdiction the respondent resides. The magistrate have to send a copy of order which type of monetary relief provided to the local area police station where the respondent living. The respondent shall pay the monetary relief granted to the agreed person within the period specified in the order under subsection 1. There is under subsection 1 time limit for grant of monetary relief to the agreed person. The magistrate ordered some time limit to provide the monetary relief to the agreed person by the respondent. Upon the failure on the part of the respondent to make payment in terms of the order under subsection 1, the magistrate may direct the employer or a debtor of the respondent to directly pay to the agreed person or to deposit with the court a portion of the wages or salaries or debt due to or accrued to the credit of the respondent, which amount may be adjusted towards the monetary relief payable by the respondent. When the respondent provide monetary relief to the agreed person, he can provide that monetary relief through a person deposited in the court or given directly to the agreed person. Then section 21, there is custody orders. We already discussed that which is custody order. Notwithstanding anything contained in any other law for the time being in force, the magistrate may at any stage of hearing of the application for protection order or for any other relief under this act grant temporary custody of any child or children to the aged person or the person making an application on her behalf and specify if necessary the arrangements for visit of such child or children by the respondent, provided that if the magistrate is of the opinion that any visit of the respondent may be harmful to the interest of the child or children, the magistrate shall refuse to allow such visit. If there is disturbance between the respondent and the aged person, then magistrate order that who will take the custody of the child or children, either mother or father, or there is problem with father and mother, then any relatives or any person who has link with the child or children, they can take responsibility or they can take custody of the children or child, and magistrate has a order, the father or mother means the respondent or the aged person will visit, will meet with the child or children, but if there is any harmful condition arises to the child or children because of the respondent, then the magistrate will refuse the order of such visit. Then section 22, which is provided compensation order. In addition to other reliefs as may be granted under this act, the magistrate may on an application being made by the aged person pass an order directing the respondent to pay compensation and damages for the injuries including mental torture and emotional distress caused by the act of domestic violence committed by that respondent. If the aged person committed any type of domestic violence issue as like as mentally torture or emotionally distress or any other injuries or damages, then the aged person will apply for compensation order for survive her life or for her and her children also. So the respondent has to provide the compensation for the aged person and also for the child or children of the aged person because of the different domestic violence activities of the respondent. Then section 23, power to grant interim and ex parte orders. In any proceeding before him under this act, the magistrate may pass such interim order as he deems just and proper. Under section 23, there is power of magistrate to grant interim and ex parte orders also. If the magistrate is satisfied that an application prima facie discloses that the respondent is committing or has committed an act of domestic violence or that there is a likelihood that the respondent may commit an act of domestic violence, he may grant an ex parte order on the basis of the affidavit in such form as may be prescribed of the aged person under section 18, section 19, section 20, section 21 or as the case may be section 22 against the respondent. Here the respondent will get provisions under section 18, section 19, section 20, 21 and also section 22. When the respondent committing a crime and because of that crime the aged person faced problem or faced any type of issue, then the aged person will get that provisions which are under these sections. Then section 24, court to give copies of order free of cost. Here the court has to give copies of order by free of cost. The magistrate shall in all cases where he has passed any order under this act, order that a copy of such order shall be given free of cost to the parties to the application, the police officer in charge of the police station, in the jurisdiction of which the magistrate has been approached, and any service provider located within the local limits of the jurisdiction of the court, and if any service provider has registered a domestic incident report to that service provider. Under section 24, the court has to forward the copy of the report or the copy of the application which is submitted by the aggrieved person or any applicant on behalf of the aggrieved person to the police in charge of the local area police station of the aggrieved person, and also to the service provider who is received the domestic incident report for protect the aggrieved person, and also to give safe and secure shelter and residence orders also, through which the service providers can provide facilities to the aggrieved person, and also the police protect the aggrieved person. Then section 25, duration and alteration of orders. There is a protection order made under section 18 shall be in force till the aggrieved person applies for discharge. We already discussed under section 18 the protection order for aggrieved person to protect from the domestic violence issue. But under section 25, there is when the aggrieved person applies for discharge of the protection order. When the aggrieved person feel that she has no need of protection order, then she can apply for the discharge of the protection order. If the magistrate on receipt of an application from the aggrieved person or the respondent is satisfied that there is a change in the circumstances requiring alteration, modification or revocation of any order made under this act, he may, for reasons to be recorded in writing, pass such order as he may deem appropriate. If the aggrieved person or the respondent satisfied that they are changed in the surrounding of them and also need of modification of any order, then they can give application to the magistrate. Then section 26, relief in other suits and legal proceeding. Any relief available under sections 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22 may also be sought in any legal proceeding before a civil court, family court or a criminal court affecting the aggrieved person and the respondent, whether such proceeding was initiated before or after the commencement of this act. In part 1 of section 26, there is under section 18, 19, 20, 21 and 22, which is provided custody order, monetary relief, residence order, protection order, compensation order, through which an aggrieved person can get provisions to protect herself and also to fight for her rights, which is proceeding in legal way through the criminal court or through the family court or through the civil court. Any relief referred to in subsection 1 may be sought for in addition to and along with any other relief that the aggrieved person may seek in such suit or legal proceeding before a civil or criminal court. If the aggrieved person has need of any other facilities or relief, it should be proceeding before civil or criminal court. In case any relief has been obtained by the aggrieved person in any proceeding other than a proceeding under this act, she shall be bound to inform the magistrate of the grant of such relief. If because of some case the relief has been obtained by the victim in any proceeding other that under this act, she has bound to inform the magistrate of the grant of such relief. The aggrieved person is bound to inform the magistrate about the grant of different relief which is provided under this act. Then section 27, which is jurisdiction. First of all, what is jurisdiction? It is the official power to make legal decisions and judgments, through which there is a power to take legal decision and provide judgments to the aggrieved persons. First one, the Court of Judicial Magistrate of the first class or the Metropolitan Magistrate, as the case may be, within the local limits of which But A, the person aggrieved permanently or temporarily resides or carries on business or is employed. The respondent resides or carries on business or is employed, or the cause of action has arisen, shall be the competent court to grant a protection order and other orders under this Act and to try offences under this Act. Any order made this Act shall be enforceable throughout India. Any order of this Act shall be enforceable throughout India and also provide different facilities for the aggrieved person. Today in this lecture we have discussed from section 18 to section 27. I think you all clear about the section 18 to section 27, and also in previous class from section 1 to section 17. So keep watching, we will continue this class. Thank you.